Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm taking a look at Far Cry 5 Hours of Darkness. So this is the first downloadable content expansion, whatever you want to call it, for Far Cry 5 out of a planned 3. So this is the first that's come out a couple of months after the game's release, and they're all standalone, you call them adventures I guess, taking a look at, say, different kind of weird or wonderful settings. So first one is taking us into the Vietnam War, completely separate from the main Far Cry 5 story. And then the second and third ones are looking at this one in the zombie apocalypse and one that is taking us to Mars. So pretty weird and wild settings, except for the first one, which isn't too out there, but it is a cool setting for a Far Cry game. So here we are. It's a obviously pretty lush jungle environment. It kind of reminds me of the first Far Cry, which is kind of cool in a way. And basically you load it up. It's its own thing. It starts with I don't want to call it cheap, but it kind of feels cheap. It's like a graphic novel, comic book style opening. It just feels like they didn't have the budget or the time to make like a fully animated in-game cutscene. But, you know, whatever, it does the job, I guess, sets it up. Doesn't go for very long, so you forget about it pretty fast. I'll try and keep this spoiler free. Obviously, there'll be just the setting, and if there's something we do might spoil a thing or two, but I'll try and keep the main stuff out of this. So, essentially, we're in this wee map here. It's technically, I guess you'd call it open world, similar to Far Cry 5, but it's more of just like a long rectangle. So you're starting at the start here. I've been playing for about an hour and a bit, maybe hour 15, hour and a half. And this is how far I've got so far. So this is, as far as I know, the whole game. So you're starting at the start here. This is where you begin, and your task is to work your way through to get to this extraction point here. And since it's Far Cry, there's a ton of tiny little things to do along the way. So you can see there's things peppered across the map like any other Far Cry game. And you can see we've got our challenges here. Keep switching sides. So we've got to rescue some teammates that kind of got lost, and then we've got the things like destroying AA guns. There's NVA camps and rescuing POWs, which are kind of similar to like outposts in the normal game. And there's commanders and little collectibles and all that kind of stuff. So it feels like a Far Cry game. It's not, breaking any records on changing how Far Cry is. It's still pretty similar. You've got your journal. A lot of similar stuff from the base game. Journal with all your missions and side missions, stuff like that. Challenges, which is what we looked at before. The roster, so in Far Cry 5 you've got your guns for hire, so every time you recruit people, the 3 squad members can be added. I've done 1 so far, so I could bring this guy in, but I tend just to forget about them like I did in Far Cry 5. I prefer to just do it myself. Inventory, so there's a bit of basic crafting, and kind of making med packs and explosives and stuff. And online, so you can obviously play co-op with a friend, which is probably the way to do it if possible. I'd recommend that, but I'm just playing solo today. So what we'll do is I think we will kind of maybe go to an outpost and just kind of show you kind of how the game feels. So what we got here, I think this is a prison camp. So we'll probably make our way there. So yeah, it's an interesting way to do DLC. I think it's quite a cool way when I first heard about it, kind of doing 3 separate standalone stories. I thought it was quite a novel way to do it, instead of just kind of expanding on the base Far Cry 5 story. And yeah, obviously the Vietnam setting is quite a cool one for a Far Cry game. It's kind of the thing though, like, watch out for these guys. It feels like a Far Cry game. It feels like they've just taken Far Cry 5, slapped a Vietnam skin on it, and kind of given you a bit of a semi-open world playground to kind of go through and play for what I assume would probably be maybe 3, 4, 5 hours, something like that, which is fine. But if you're looking for, say, if you played Far Cry 5 and you're thinking, yeah, I liked it, but I've had my time with it, and you're thinking maybe these wacky DLCs will change the core of the game, which, to be fair, the next 2 might. Then this one doesn't. So, I mean, like, obviously the next 2 being zombies and going to Mars. maybe the core gameplay will be changed up a bit. This formula might be thrown on its head, hopefully. But for this, it definitely feels like Far Cry 5. You've got your weapons, you've got your weapon slots, you've got your your usables and your throwing stuff. There are a couple of things that the game does add. So you can see at the bottom right, we've got a wee plane icon 3 out of 5. So essentially, you can call in airstrikes using the binoculars. So you can hold up to 5 at a time. You may be able to upgrade that in the future. And you can just call them in with the binoculars, and after a few seconds, a plane will fly past and completely destroy whatever you've targeted. So that's a cool wee thing. You get extra drops for saving POWs, achieving objectives, taking out AA guns, that kind of stuff. And if you're in a zone with an AA gun, you've got to take it out before planes can come over, which makes sense. And then probably the biggest change they've done is, you can see above my wee guy at the top right there, we've got 4 little circles. So it's essentially, the game's really focused around stealth more so than the base game. So each time you do a stealth kill without being spotted, one of those circles will fill up. So I complete 4 in a row without being spotted, then I'll get all 4 of those, and each one gives you a little bonus. So there's things like auto targeting enemies when you're within 10 meters, being able to target enemies through walls with binoculars, moving faster, that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. So it adds another wee element to kind of not force you, but incentivize you to do stealth. But then say you get all 4 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and then you get spotted, you lose them all, and then you've got to start rebuilding them again. So obviously if you just go in guns blazing, then you won't be getting them, but if you get spotted halfway through going through stealth, you'll lose them and you have to get them again. So let's see if we can't go in here and wipe some guys out. So I'll take a throwing knife. So like I said about the semi-open world, it is, there's not just one path you go down, but it's more, I'd say, just like a big rectangle which you've got to go from one end to the other, but you can go up and down a bit to find different things. So you don't have to rescue the POWs, you have to do the AA guns, but you've paid for it, so you might as well get your time out of it. And there are some cool things I've noticed too, like I found just like hidden away some like NBA tunnels that I've kind of tracked through, and there was some good loot at the end of that and stuff, which was a cool wee thing. And obviously you've got eliminating your NBA commanders and stuff, which add a bit of change to the mix. So this is POWs, which means there's going to be some prisoners, probably I think South Vietnamese prisoners, somewhere in here that we can rescue, and we'll probably get an airstrike. Yep, there he is. Okay, let's see what we can do. I kind of want to use the airstrike, but we should probably do it stealth. I'll use the airstrike, It's fun. Let's maybe move up a bit. So your binoculars are still here, same as ever, so you can press Z to pull them out, or whatever your console equivalent is. And you can see we've now got a left click to call airstrike. So let's try and get as many as we can. Let's go maybe there. And you give it a few seconds. There he is. Boom. So that's quite fun, being able to do that. Oh no, the POW's down. Better get in there and revive him. Oh jeez, it was a big explosion. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't realize it would totally like wreck the place. Damn. Oh well, I totally butchered that one. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. That's funny. Okay, so maybe don't call in a firebomb right in the middle of their base. But you live for some, you learn some. But that kind of showcases the power of the airstrike. It is an effective tool, but you don't want to explode yourself. Well, that's actually quite good, because now we can go back and do it stealthily, and you can kind of see the difference between that. So let's run back here. So they've added some new guns, obviously, to kind of fit with the time period. So there are a couple that have kind of been, I think, just reused from Far Cry 5. So like the 1911, I don't think is too much different. There's a compound bow, which, it's Far Cry, so you can expect there to be a compound bow, but it doesn't make much sense. You just find it like sitting on a table in like a Vietnamese, like the outpost. It's like doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's fun. The whole Far Cry thing doesn't make a lot of sense all the time, so I won't complain too much. So we've got some guys down here too. So I did have the compound bow a bit earlier, but swapped it out for the M16 just in case we have to make a bit more noise. And we have throwing knives too, so let's get up here and take this guy out. Alright, so let's see if we can actually rescue this POW here. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it, but I enjoyed Far Cry 5. So if you didn't enjoy Far Cry 5 or are done with it and don't really find the gameplay interesting or as exciting maybe as it once was, then I'm not quite sure if this is for you, because this is definitely just more Far Cry 5 with a different setting. The next two DLCs may be different, but who knows? They're not going to be out for at least 2 months till we see the next one, if I had to make a wild guess. So yeah, I mean, oh, there we go. But yeah, if you did love Far Cry 5, you just want to play more of it and maybe want to change it up from Montana, put it on a bit of the accent there, then this is fun, and it does do that. Let's go in here, and if you bought the season pass, then obviously you might as well play it. If you haven't bought it, you can buy this by itself. So I guess that's maybe a good thing if you don't like this one, but maybe you want to play like the next DLC. Oh, I'm bad at stealth. Very bad at stealth. Yeah, so if you maybe want to play the next DLC and not this one, then you can kind of pick and choose as you go. We've got one more guy in here. Yeah, there you go, compound bow. Oh, okay, they're using it for hunting. I guess that makes sense. Just don't think about it too much. So yeah, I mean, it costs $15. That's Canadian, so US probably like $12, something like that. Feels pretty good value, and doesn't feel overly expensive for what you're getting. 3 or 4 hours of pretty enjoyable gameplay again if you're into it. Then yeah, it's probably worth the buy. But if you're over Far Cry, then it is just more Far Cry, so you may not want to spend money on that. Alright, save this dude. We'll probably get an airstrike. It gives us some intel too. There you go. Easy. Intel. I have no idea what Intel does. Maybe it'll come to it at the end. And also, full disclosure, I haven't played the whole thing, so it may be that once you finish this map, they put you in a new one. But I doubt it. I feel like, this is probably more of a single map kind of thing. Yeah, so the gameplay's been pretty similar the whole time I've been playing so far. It's, you're just going through, you're clearing stuff out, completing little side missions, getting sidetracked as you do with Far Cry games. But it's been fun. It's actually ran really well, which is kind of surprising, because the original game was somewhat laggy a lot of the time, especially when you're getting forest areas, and this whole game is forest, and it's been running really smooth. I don't know whether it's just because the map is a lot smaller, or something about it. We're going to go a bit loud here. Actually, hold on. Let's go quiet and I'll show you what this is. So what was here before I destroyed it? I thought it had respawned, but I guess not. There's like propaganda like speakers, basically. There's also MP40s around, don't quite know why. Yeah, so there's basically like propaganda towers around where it's quite cool. It addresses you as the player directly, so it says your call sign, which is kind of nice wee detail. If you've been paying attention to what your call sign is, then the propaganda is kind of talking to you, telling you to, so why bother, just turn yourself in, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's about all my thoughts on Hours of Darkness. It's been fun. And if you like Far Cry, you will like this. And if you don't like Far Cry, you won't like this, because they're pretty much the same. And you got your wild animals, like every other Far Cry game. I don't have any silencers. Poor Jaguar. There's been situations where I've found, a ton of enemies like swarm you, and it's kind of different to Far Cry 5, where the amount of enemies coming at you it's just non-stop. There's always people coming at you with their own cars or planes, or you can't drive literally for more than 20 seconds most of the time without having people rail on you and start shooting you. But in this, all the time you've got to kind of seek the fight out and go find it yourself, which is kind of a nice change, I think. We'll see what's going on up here before we call it. But yeah, I'll be finishing this. I enjoyed Far Cry 5, so I'll be finishing this up to see what it ends out to be. Looks like we missed it. Oh well. Okay, so it said airstrike unavailable. That means there's an AA gun somewhere in the area and we'll need to destroy that if we want to be able to call in airstrikes. But yeah, so that is Hours of Darkness. It's on the Uplay store. You can pick it up as the Season Pass with all 3, which will be releasing after this. For the next couple of months, we'll get the next one, I imagine. Or you can buy them piecemeal if you kind of just want the 1, or maybe just the 2, or who knows. I would, unless you're a huge proponent of Far Cry 5 and you love it, then I would probably wait to see what the next ones are like, the next 2 DLCs. But if you really like Far Cry 5, then I don't think it's a bad buy picking up the whole pack for a bit cheaper, and you should get some fun, hopefully unique experiences down the road. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.